You are living within a timeline, but it's not the only one available to you. Right now, all around you, countless expressions of reality are resonating just beyond perception, waiting to become experience. Yet, many remain trapped in a repetitive loop, recreating the same behaviors, the same results, the same frustrations, questioning why nothing changes, even when they ache for something more. Let's break this illusion. You're not stuck because of fate, karma, or bad luck. You're stuck because your entire system, mind, body, emotions, and energetic field is still aligned with the previous version of your life. You cannot escape it by mere longing. You won't bypass it through effort alone. And you cannot deceive the unseen order of the universe by pretending. True transformation isn't about forcing reality into your favor. It's about embodying a new state of being so wholly, so harmoniously, that the greater field has no choice but to reflect back a different version of life. Let's explore further. Most assume manifestation is driven by desire, wanting something intensely enough that life must deliver it. But here's the deeper reality. Desire alone holds no weight in the unseen field. Creation doesn't respond to how much you crave change. It responds to how aligned your being is with the frequency of that change. That means right now, even if your lips speak affirmations, your walls are covered in vision boards, and your mind visualizes daily, you may still be resonating with an outdated timeline. Why? Because beneath the surface, your system remains wired to the known. Your nervous system is addicted to emotional repetitions. Your subconscious echoes patterns of doubt, fear, and lack. Even while your conscious mind is screaming, I want growth. I want love. I want success. And here's what most don't realize. The invisible field listens not to the loudest signal, but to the deepest one. Let that settle. The strongest signal is your full body resonance. It's not only your thoughts, it's your emotions, your expectations, your embodiment. That's why you can declare, I am abundant 1,000 times. But if your body tenses in anxiety every time you look at your finances, the field absorbs that contraction, not your declaration. That's why you can imagine love daily, but if your heart remains guarded, the signal sent is isolation, not union. This is the subtle trap that holds people captive in the old timeline. They think change begins outside, with actions, achievements, external shifts. But real transformation begins inside, with coherence, with surrender, with alignment. You must become the version of yourself who already resides in the reality you seek. Not later. Not when evidence appears. But now. And here's where it becomes truly profound. Modern physics confirms that infinite possibilities exist simultaneously in the field of potential. Every timeline, every possible you, every outcome you can imagine is already vibrating within this sacred system. When you shift your resonance, you're not making something appear from thin air. You're merging into the version that has awaited your alignment. This is why mystics and pioneers throughout history have spoken of energy, frequency, and sacred codes. Nikola Tesla once said, if you knew the significance of 3, 6, and 9, you would hold the key to the universe. These numbers are not superstitions. They point to divine order, to the rhythms and blueprints embedded into existence by a higher intelligence. So the question isn't, how do I get what I want? The true question is, who must I become energetically to match the timeline where it already exists? And becoming is not an act. It's not pretending. It's not performance. It's a complete inner shift, a harmonizing of soul, mind, and body into divine resonance. This is where the real journey begins. You're not here to wrestle with the old story. You're here to rise into the frequency of the new one. But before we go deeper into how to do that, take a sacred pause. Reflect. Which version of yourself made today's choices? Which timeline has been fed by your focus, attention, and energy? Are you ready to release that outdated version so something truer can unfold? Sit with these questions. Breathe into them. Feel the tension they stir within. Because in the next part, we'll uncover the unseen forces that keep you tethered to old loops. The resistance, the subconscious stories, the emotional scars, all the inner codes that sabotage your elevation. This is the part they don't often teach. The part that reveals why so many understand the concept of transformation but never live the reality of it. Are you ready to reveal what's been hidden? Let's look deeper. The real reason people don't shift isn't laziness. It's not a lack of wanting. And it's not that they're doing it all wrong. It's because they're still deeply connected to the version of themselves designed to survive the past. And that version, though outdated, feels safe. Because the mind is drawn to the familiar, not necessarily to what's best. The outdated reality doesn't ask for your permission to continue. It only needs your participation. Each time you respond the same way, replay the same narrative, anticipate the same outcome, the frequency is reinforced. It's like a mental trail. The more you walk it, the deeper it becomes. Eventually, it feels automatic. The timeline isn't something you choose anymore. It's choosing you. Here is where the sacred science of energy meets the study of the mind in a way often missed. In quantum physics, the observer effect reveals that merely observing collapses infinite potential into one form, into matter, into choice, into experience. But you're not observing only with eyes, you're observing with beliefs, emotions, and silent expectations. Now add the brain's truth. 95% of behavior comes from the subconscious, the keeper of past pain, core beliefs, and deep identity patterns. This means that most of the time, it's not your conscious desire that brings form to reality. It's the silent script of your subconscious. Let that truth sink in. You're trying to reshape your world using the 5% of your mind that is alert and aware, while the remaining 95% is still echoing with fear, lack, skepticism, and survival instincts. And the greater field of creation responds to your prevailing signal. So when people say manifestation isn't working, what they're really saying is, I haven't yet transformed the inner witness shaping my reality. This is why cycles repeat. This is why you can change your job, your partner, your location, and still find yourself entangled in the same emotional experiences. Because no external change can override an inner frequency that remains unchanged. Let me put it this way. The path you walk can't shift unless the one observing it does. So what's anchoring you to the old version of life? More often than not, it's resistance. And resistance is clever. It hides behind overthinking, avoidance, emotional numbness, relentless busyness, fear disguised as logic, and the voice within that urges you to be practical. But if you strip it all down, resistance has a single root. Your system believes it's safer to remain where you are, even in discomfort, than to venture into the unfamiliar. And that belief lives not just in your mind, but in your body. Stored pain, unspoken emotions, inherited fear, they're etched into your nervous system. That's why you can know truth intellectually, but still be unable to live it. That's why affirmations fall flat, why vision boards fade, why you return to old loops again and again. The barrier isn't in your thoughts. It's in your biology. When your nervous system is out of harmony, it transmits a signal of threat to the universe. Even if your words say, I'm ready, your energy might still whisper, I'm afraid. This contradiction keeps returning the same limited results. It's not personal, it's how the design of creation operates. Nikola Tesla once said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He wasn't speaking metaphorically. He meant it literally. Your life hums at a frequency. Your thoughts, your emotions, your posture, your breath, everything forms a unique energetic signature that either resonates with your desired life or repels it. This is why so many feel drawn to patterns like 36,977 or sacred geometries. Deep down, they sense that existence is built on intelligent order, that frequencies are not chaos, but codes woven into reality. You are not simply a human moving through time. You are a living, breathing frequency device in constant dialogue with a responsive field. And when you've been emitting the same old pattern for so long, you begin to mistake it for your identity. But here's the beauty: you don't need to fight that old signal. You just need to stop feeding it. Let me ask you, where are you still radiating fear while claiming to trust? Where are you anticipating rejection while longing for love? Where are you chasing abundance while feeling undeserving of it? These inner contradictions are what keep you stuck. In the next stage of this path, we'll explore what it really takes to shift timelines, not as a concept, but as an embodied experience. You'll learn how to bring harmony between your conscious and subconscious, how to guide your body into alignment, and how to begin living as the version of yourself who already exists within your desired reality. But before we dive deeper, I want to offer something sincere. If part of you feels a quiet awakening, if something within you is beginning to align, stay close. Let this space be a source of your growth. And if you're moved, share one word in the comments. A word that symbolizes the cycle you're ready to break. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's scarcity. Maybe it's silence. Whatever it is, name it, not for others, but for yourself. Naming it is the first step to dissolving its hold. Now we approach the part most people never reach. Not because it's hidden, but because it's so profoundly simple, it's often missed. Shifting timelines isn't about commanding reality. It's about coming into such deep resonance with a version of you who already lives that reality that the old one simply dissolves. Let's unpack this. Imagine the quantum field as a vast ocean of divine potential. Every version of you, every timeline, every outcome already exists as a vibrational wave in that sea. When you observe with clarity, when you align with intention, you bring a specific wave into form. But here's the secret: you don't collapse that wave by wanting. You collapse it by matching. And matching isn't just a thought. It's emotional. It's physical. It's vibrational. It's the unified hum of your whole being when you're in true alignment. So why do people struggle to match a new reality? Because they attempt to reach it through thought alone. They overanalyze the process. I know wealth is possible. I know love is real. I know I can heal. But knowing with the mind is not enough. Your body must know. Your emotions must know. Your breath, your stance, your choices, your very identity must all broadcast. This is who I am now. This is where embodiment matters. Embodiment isn't a trend. It's the missing link. It's the practice of living the frequency you seek before life confirms it back to you. Here's what that might look like. If you're stepping into a reality of abundance, embodiment may mean spending with trust instead of fear. It may mean breathing deeply when scarcity rises, rather than collapsing into panic. It may mean meeting opportunities with openness instead of bracing for disappointment. If you're stepping into a reality of love, embodiment may mean softening your heart instead of shutting down. It may mean taking emotional risks. It may mean staying vulnerable, even when old wounds urge you to withdraw. If you're stepping into a reality of health, embodiment may mean caring for your body like it's already regenerating. It may mean nourishing it with reverence, moving it with love, resting it with gratitude. Do you see the pattern? You don't wait for life to change to begin living differently. You live differently, and life reshapes around you. This is the reason many attempts at manifestation fail. They're conditional. I'll feel gratitude after I get the job. I'll feel relaxed once I'm in the relationship. I'll feel abundant when the money comes. But that's not how the field works. The unseen intelligence of creation isn't judging you. It's reflecting you. And reflection happens now, not someday. This is where we return to the ancient wisdom hinted at by Tesla, the 369, the sacred order of the cosmos. These are not just superstitions. They are profound reminders. They direct us back to the core truth. Life itself is organized around energy, not sheer effort. Therefore, the true challenge is, can you bring your mind, heart, body and actions into alignment, even when external circumstances haven't changed yet. Can you sustain that alignment long enough for the wave to collapse? Here's the paradox that isn't often discussed. Timelines don't shift because you get exhausted from waiting. They shift when the act of waiting is no longer part of your energy. Pause. Breathe that in. This is the quantum code. The version of you that already has everything you desire isn't waiting in the future. It's vibrating now, in a frequency that you can tune into today. The real question is, will you align with it? Before we proceed, take a moment to reflect. What would your day look like if you were acting, breathing, and moving as the version of yourself who already lives in your desired timeline? What small decisions would change? What emotional patterns would shift? What conversations would come to an end or begin? This journey isn't about grand gestures. It's about subtle, continuous alignment. In the next section, we'll explore how to put these realizations into practice. How to stop endlessly processing information and start embodying the change, moment by moment. Are you ready to step into the timeline you've been seeking? Let's start here. The only practice that truly matters is the one you live. We live in an era where it's easy to gather knowledge, consume techniques, binge-watch manifestation videos, and yet never integrate any of it. Why? Because consuming feels like progress. But true progress only happens when your actions, your breath, and your energy match the information you're learning. So, how do we weave the quantum shift into our daily lives? First, you must understand the concept of micro-alignment. Many believe that shifting timelines requires dramatic, sweeping changes. But quantum reality doesn't respond to size. It responds to coherence. A small act done with pure, aligned intention can hold more vibrational weight than an overwhelming, frantic gesture driven by fear. Let's break this down into practical examples. If you're aligning with an abundance timeline, your practice might look like breathing deeply when scarcity thoughts arise, rather than succumbing to fear. You could express gratitude for the small resources in your life, amplifying the vibration of, I have enough. You could spend money with trust, rather than panic or guilt. If you're moving into a love timeline, embodiment could mean opening your posture when you feel like retreating. It could be reaching out with kindness instead of withdrawing in self-protection. It might be speaking words of affection, even when vulnerability feels uncomfortable. If you're embodying health, your practice might involve tuning into the vitality already present in your body. You could nourish it with love and respect, move it with gratitude, and rest it with care. Do you see the pattern? You don't wait for the timeline to shift before you begin living differently. You start living differently, and the timeline shifts. This is why many manifestation efforts fail. They are conditional. I'll feel grateful once I get the job. I'll feel at peace when I find the right relationship. I'll feel abundant when the money shows up. But the quantum field doesn't work like that. The universe is not testing or punishing you. It's simply reflecting you. And this reflection happens instantly, not with a delay. This brings us back to the timeless wisdom of Tesla, the numbers 3, 6, and 9, and the universal patterns woven into the very fabric of existence. The quantum doesn't need time to catch up. It responds in the here and now. As you step into this practice, remember, you are not alone. You are part of a collective of awakened souls rediscovering their creative power and learning how to harmonize with the field. This space is here to support you in that process. Before we head into the final part of this journey, where we'll discuss how to sustain the shift and truly embody the new timeline, I invite you to stay close. If this video has touched something within you, if you feel a shift in your own energy, subscribe and join us. Let's grow together. And in the comments, share one small action you're committing to today, something that anchors you into your new reality. It could be as simple as breathe, trust, or open. Your word matters. Your actions matter. You matter. So here we are, at the final step. You've explored the science, the energy, and the subconscious shifts. Now we reach the most important part, sustaining the transformation. The quantum field doesn't care if you visit the new timeline once or twice. It reshapes around you when you decide to live there. Many people treat manifestation like a one-time event. They visualize, affirm, journal, and wait. When results don't show up instantly, they revert back to the old timeline, unaware that the real magic lies in staying. Sustainability is the master key to quantum transformation. Let's be clear, this doesn't mean you need to feel good all the time. It doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending that everything is perfect when it's not. It means developing the ability to return to alignment again and again. Every time you wobble and come back, you strengthen the new frequency. Every time you notice the pull of the old loops and choose the new timeline instead, you reinforce the shift. Every time you act, breathe, and choose as though your desired reality is already true, you collapse the wave. This is the dance of quantum embodiment. Now let's talk about tools. Some people find breathwork, meditation, or visualization to be powerful tools to align their system. For others, using sacred symbols, numbers like 369 or 777, or sound frequencies can serve as anchors. But remember, these tools are not magical shortcuts. They are simply reminders, anchors that help your subconscious receive the message that you are attuned to the new frequency. But no tool works unless you actively embody the shift. You can't outsource your transformation to rituals. The ritual works because you do the work. So here's your invitation. Identify one pattern from your old timeline that you're ready to disrupt. Choose one small, practical act that embodies the version of you living in the new timeline. Commit to practicing that act today, with full presence, sincerity, and love. It may be something as simple as taking 3 conscious breaths before reacting. Maybe it's choosing to speak from your desired self, rather than from fear. Or perhaps it's sitting quietly and visualizing yourself surrounded by the energy of your new reality. It's not about the specific action, it's about how you engage with it. And the beauty is, the quantum responds instantly. As you engage with this practice, remember, you are not alone. You are part of a collective awakening to its power, rediscovering its creative nature, and learning how to harmonize with the field. In this space, this channel is here to walk with you every step of the way. So before we conclude this journey together, I ask you to reflect. What is the next step you will take to embody the version of you already living in your desired timeline? Know this, you are no longer waiting for change, you are becoming